Fletch says the team lineups. Tom Trbojevic said before the big news, Brett Stewart is out. And Tom Trbojevic goes to fullback. You watch him go. And the other fellow we're talking about, young Matt Parcell, who's coming off the bench. He played at the Intrust Super Cup last year up in Queensland. Mate, he's a real dynamo at a dummy half. He'll be a pivotal game in this game. I tell you, if that middle starts to get tired like it did last night with Parramatta for the Bulldogs, and mate, he'll have a massive impact in this game. Coruscant is a new man who starts in, as we said before, Lewis Brown in the back row and Nate Miles. Man, I tell you, boys, to have that sort of experience come to your club, just absolutely invaluable, isn't it? And of course, coached by Trent Barrett. Now we have the Bulldogs. William Hopewadi goes into fullback. Of course, Brett Morris out for 4 months. What a blow that is. And as before, Hopewadi at fullback. And you've got Reynolds and Mbai in the halves, and Michael Lucia. Your thoughts on that, Fletch? Lucia went there with a lot of raps from Cronulla.
Yeah, he sort of. I saw a bit of his when he's playing down there in Cronulla in the lower grades. He's a fine runner of the ball. He gets out of dummy half. He's quite quick. Last year, I thought, well, he got injured halfway through the year, and young Cook took over, and he was a bit of a revelation.
Yeah, he certainly was.
Now with Cook, how did they let someone like Cook
Well,
go?
I think they did offer him a contract, but obviously the salary cap, they didn't have enough money in the cap left, and South pounced and said he's gone to the Bunnies.
He's on a good contract. He's a good pickup there, Cook. He was outstanding last year when he came on.
Yeah. Geez, boys, tough place to win, Brookie, isn't it? When you go to Brookvale Oval. I mean, the Broncos, even junior winning periods. You know,
we couldn't go there and win, but we wore some ridiculous jerseys there. We were all yellow, then we wore the teal a couple of times, but that's always that was a hard hunting ground. Did you ever win there?
The 2-minute siren in there, Jamie Lyon, as I said before, unbelievable. 17th year in the NRL is Jamie Lyon. And,
I think having a couple of years over English Super League's helped him out, though, because you don't do much over there. That's why you went. Is that right?
Where?
Because you couldn't hack it here, so you went over the Super League.
Correct.
Right? Yeah.
Correct, yeah.
2 years at St Helens?
Wigan?
No, I'm talking about Jamie Lyon.
I'm talking about me again.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, there's the Bulldogs making their way onto the field. There we go, Josh Reynolds. As they make their way in there, boys pumping themselves up. First game of the year, boys. You always get those nerves, don't you? When you go in there.
It's not a good feeling. It's not a good feeling.
Righto, I tell you what, gentlemen, it's time to go. Let's go to Warren Smith and Greg Alexander for the call of the game. Dogs versus Manly.
Thank you, Manny. It's a showdown that has so many storylines it might become a 5-part mini-series. Des Hasler and the Bulldogs arrive at Brookvale to take on the team he led to 2 premierships. Josh Morris, 1 try away from joining his brother Brett Morris in the 100 tries club. They'd become the first brothers ever to achieve that feat should Josh score here tonight. But here is the team so many people are talking about. A new coach in Trent Barrett. His coaching career begins in earnest here tonight, and he has a lineup featuring 8 new faces. It'll be fascinating, Brandy, to see how they fare here this evening.
Always plenty of question marks over a side that has a new coach, in particular a rookie coach in Trent Barrett, and so many new faces in the lineup. Tom Trbojevic will play at fullback in the absence of Brett Stewart. They'd love to have both of them out there, but gee, I'm looking forward to watching Tom play at the back because he hasn't started there. And Manly, well, there's skipper Jamie Lyon. There's one of the new buys, Lewis Brown, playing the back row and can fill a number of positions. Very versatile. Cherry Evans and the skipper Jamie Lyon, one of the veterans now. Debuted back in 2000. This is 16th year. I know he went to England for a couple of those, but he'll chalk up 300 games at some stage at the end of the season.
It's almost a capacity crowd here at Brookvale Oval. We're underway. Friday night footy on Fox. It'll be the Bulldogs to get first use of the ball, and James Graham it is. The Englishman bringing it out to play it just short of the Bulldogs 20. Michael Leisha missed the end of the 2015 campaign with a foot injury back in the dummy half role to begin 2016. A former Sea Eagle, Tony Williams. Quick play the ball as well, and now Greg Eastwood, who was very impressive, one of the players who's lost plenty of kilos in the pre-season ahead of this new season with these new interchange rules coming into effect. Big meters here for the Bulldogs in this opening set, and the kick off the left boot of Moses Mbai will go down to Tom Trbojevic, the 19-year-old, filling in tonight for Brett Stewart, who's out with a hamstring injury. He was close to playing tonight, but Trbojevic has the fullback duties. Tafua to play it. just outside the 20. Comes across to this right-hand side and big contact. Greg Eastwood was there, so was Leisha, as they took down Nate Miles, one of those new 8 faces in this Manly lineup tonight. To Powell. Goes from Coruscant. Played here through Trbojevic, just on their own side of halfway. The kick from Cherry Evans, not a great strike off the side of the boot, and then slews towards the sideline, kept in play. Lyon put it on the toe, picked up here by Moses and By. We know how quick he can be. Not a great end to Manly's first set.
And normally he strikes them much better than that, Daly. Cherry Evans just slewed it off the side of his foot, and By lucky to be grabbed there by Lewis Brown because it looked dangerous for a moment. Flicks it back. Jamie Lyon tries to get the kick away, and he does. Moses and By, we know he's got plenty of speed, but pulled up by Brown.
There's Graham. As the Bulldogs go deep on the attack for the first time, they'll play it to Leisha. There's Reynolds on the right-hand side. Comes to Josh Jackson. What an impressive edge forward he is, and you'd imagine he'll play 80 minutes tonight. Likewise, perhaps Williams, as Reynolds hooks it back across the field. Trbojevic read it beautifully. Then he'll use some speed to come out for a quick restart and picks up 15 metres, and he almost went through them.
He did well there, Tom Trbojevic, because he got his left foot into the in-goal area just as he took that ball, and that allowed him to race to the 20 and get Manly off to a hot start.
He is young, he is quick, he is strong. Tom Trbojevic must have put on 5 or 6 kilograms in the off-season, and what a sight he is at full stretch.
Yeah, good kick by Reynolds, and Trbojevic had to get back on the inside to take it and just bumped away. Just lost his balance, but had beaten Greg Eastwood. Eastwood has come up with a couple of big shots. You don't see Nate Miles get put on his back very often. That was the penalty.
The 22-year-old Jake Trbojevic. What an impact he had for Manly in 2015, despite the side finishing just outside the finals in 9th position. Miles to play it just outside the 10. They go to the right-hand side. Trbojevic giving it to Cherry Evans. Good tackle there by Williams. They're 7 metres away. Here's Coruscant showing it a couple of times. Tolman nor Williams falling for it. And they could reach out and touch the line from there. Midway through this set, here is Walker with the number 6 on his back. Turns it back on the inside for Nathan Green, the former Dragon, better known as a centre, sometime back rower. Will be a full-time back rower this season. Cherry Evans, grubbers, pouring through is Jamie Lyon. They'll get another set.
Good set and good finish to it. Cherry Evans just getting that ball and squeezing it through the Bulldogs defenders there. Took a couple of steps just to create a bit of space for himself and then just dropped it onto his foot. Lyon loves chasing the Cherry Evans kick, whether it's on the ground or in the air. They'll get themselves another set at this Bulldogs line.
Promising beginning by Manly as the clock ticks down to 4 seconds before they got the goal line dropout away. 35 seconds for scrums, 30 seconds for goal line dropouts in 2016. Coruscant waiting at dummy half. Bulldogs with a good record in recent times here at Brookvale Oval, but it's Manly on the attack, 20 metres away. Coruscant again showing it on the inside, bypassing to Powell, and then Walker's first man ball well handled by Nathan Green. A tough one to take at point blank range. Goes to Powell. Runs towards Leisha, keeps it alive. It comes back to Coruscant. He'll dig for the line himself, and they'll cut him down a couple of metres out. 5 minutes gone. Play number 5 in this set. Repeat set for the Sea Eagles. They'll work it forward through Trbojevic. They've got one more. Come back to the left-hand side for Walker. He grubbers, chasing through. Tafua was there. He went very close to getting it. Perrott put a hand out. They're going to say a goal line dropout.
Well, clever kick there from Dylan Walker. We haven't seen that part of his game, of course, in the centres for South Sydney. He didn't get the opportunity. He's got big shoes to fill, and Tafua, I don't know, I think he might have had trouble getting that ball down pretty quickly. He was headed towards the dead ball line, and there's Perrott just getting his hands in between. Nice play from Dylan Walker. Went away from Cherry Evans and came back down the short side.
Well, they're going to say, on the advice, no doubt, of the NRL bunker, that this will be a 20-metre restart for the Bulldogs. That's curious. It looked like Perrott knocked it out for sure.
Looked like Perrott just squeezed his hand in between both Tafua's hands and got the touch to it. The bunker's overruled.
The only way they could have ruled it is that Tafua has knocked it on before the touch knocked the ball forward into the hand of Perrott, which came and scooped it away. Perhaps a bit of luck early on for the visitors. Leisha goes to Graham. Up quickly was to Powell looking for a shot. Graham slipped by him. Into ground looking for a penalty. Won't get one. They're very flat, as they can be, the Bulldogs. That hasn't changed over the 4 seasons. Des Hasler's coaching at Belmore. His flat attacking line as Reynolds now gets a little bit of depth on this right edge, but he's rounded up very quickly. Nathan Green just took him to ground in no uncertain terms, just outside the 30. Last tackle. It goes to Mbai to put it up. Some pressure here on Braden Williami, who's back there filling in for Travojevic, who's moved to fullback tonight. Nate Miles is catching his breath. What an inclusion. So much experience they have in the middle of the field and on the edges between Miles and Jamie Lyon. Here's Tafua coming in for a carry, something he does very well. And those opening tackles of the set of 6 from their own end. A bit of width from Walker to Matai, keeps it alive. From cornrows to cornrows, Matai gave it to Tapau, and he'll play at 15 short of the halfway line. Travojevic back on the inside for Tom. From Jake, the younger brother Tom. Well handled though by Tolman. As Coruscant finds Cherry Evans. He kicks from the halfway line. It'll go down towards the corner. Another well-weighted kick. They've certainly got their radar working early on, both Cherry Evans and Walker. And now Hopewadi returning to familiar territory. He tonight will play it just inside his own 10. Let's go downstairs to Jimmy Smith.
Well, Manly and Brookvale have really turned it on tonight. Was absolutely spectacular. The ground condition, remember this corresponding game last year, the round 3 clash. So we see Semi Perrott break out of a tackle. Back to you, Was.
Comes towards Coruscant and also Tom Travojevic. He'll play it there back at the halfway line. We'll come back to you in a moment. Jimmy to finish that thought as Leisha gives it to Mbai. Coming up quickly. A miss there by Lewis Brown. One of the new chums in this Manly lineup for 2016. Here's Graham. Towards Tapau. We'll wait and see how long the forwards go before either coach makes an interchange under these new rules. These reduced interchanges in 2016. The kick, no pressure on Travojevic. We'll work it back to be stopped there by Eastwood and Jackson, and almost lost the ball. Eastwood there saying he lost it into me. The referee disagreed.
Yeah, we just spoke about the interchange. Oh, they have lost the ball this time. George Tafua spills it.
Picked up by Chase Stanley, and the Bulldogs have it just outside the Manly 10. They got away with one, perhaps not a second one, and now a penalty. The Seagulls under pressure to slow down the play of the ball beyond the patience of the referee, and they'll have it here with a full set of 6 from close range. Are they thinking about the 2? They're going to have a blood bin. It looks like. Nate Miles who needs some attention. Continue on in the front line for the moment. Here is Tolman. Towards Jake Travojevic, who really can hit. Leisha in behind Eastwood. Finds Reynolds. A floating ball over the top. Perrott coming across Matai in cover. Herded him back on the inside, and Walker and Tom Travojevic did the rest. Jackson will settle it towards the uprights. Strong tackle by Tapau and also Jake Travojevic. Leisha for Eastwood. Renowned for his footwork at the line, but well handled there by Coruscant and Miles. Back on the inside from Graham and Mbai. They've opened them up. Reynolds draws and passes. Perrott scores for the Bulldogs. They almost got there a moment ago. That was clockwork, though.
That was beautiful. Great set play by the Bulldogs. James Graham, the switch of play. They got to the middle of the field. Graham just comes across the back of the ruck. Second man out to Mbai, and then another second man pass to Reynolds. By that time, it was a 2-on-1. George Tafua, the man that spilt the ball for the Eagles as he worked it out, came in to take Reynolds, and Reynolds just quickly offloaded out to Sam Perrott. First on the board, the Dogs, courtesy of a Manly error, and then a penalty, but a very nicely worked set play.
No surprise to see James Graham integral in the lead up to it, and while he had plenty of time out of the game with injuries and suspensions last year, his work around the middle of the field, changing the direction, his ball playing, certainly opened things up for Reynolds and the try scorer Perrott. The kick swings away to the right hand side from Moses Mbai. It stays at 4 points to 0, Jimmy.
Yeah, the concern there was, again, caught on that left-hand side, short on numbers. Manly there, Dylan Walker. Quick out of the line, but put pressure on the blokes around him as we see the replay of it here. Goes to Mbai, but doesn't make the tackle, so makes it easy for Reynolds to ice it with Perrott. I was going to mention the game last year, round 3, all that sand on Brookvale. They couldn't play here for a number of weeks, but it's in perfect condition tonight. The crowds responded, big numbers here, and when the ball was kicked off, 25 degrees at ground level. Perfect for rugby league.
Another sensational Sydney night after a warm beginning to the season. Parramatta last night. Broncos getting first points against the Eels. And the Bulldogs on top to begin this one. Williams coming through the tackle there of Coruscant. Another penalty
You can choose to
Canterbury.
listen or not, mate. It's up to you.
Off the back of this, they'll have Manly under pressure once again inside their own half. Again, just a little nudge there. Lewis Brown involved in that tackle, and then Tony Williams working it forward. The penalty ensued off the back of that next play. Morris goes to Williams. Big T-Rex. It's a big year for him as well. Off contract, a number of Bulldogs starting the season looking to renew deals beyond 2016, and he is one of them. Strong carry right there as Graham goes to the 30. From Reynolds to Jackson. Nice straight run between Green and Walker. They had their hands full. Players in motion. They go back to the middle. Eastwood keeps it alive. It comes back to Tolman. He'll play at 15 out from the Manly line. Looking to go back to back. Here's Graham again. To the line this time. Out the back. No knock on. Play on's the call. Reynolds grabbed by Travojevic. Tolman and Mbai turning it back on the inside. Here's Williams over the top of Cherry Evans. Dragged down though in a try-saving tackle by Jamie Lyon. They've got one more. They go to the short side. Not much doing there for Josh Morris. He's still trying though. Perhaps a wasted end to a promising set.
Yeah, it was going to be tough for Josh Morris to get himself across the line. Cherry Evans to power there. Another dangerous movement there by the Dogs. It was a James Graham offload that got it started too. Moses and Mbai. Oh, they've blew it again, the Eagles.
Braden Williami has put it down, and we'll see if the Bulldogs make them pay. A chance to go right immediately. Instead, Graham takes it towards the uprights, and Nate Miles hits him in a belter and loved it as well. Leisha and Mbai. Here's Williams. Quick hands. Josh Morris. 99 tries in his career. Looking to join brother Brett in the 100 club from Rona. Comes back to Tolman. Oh, weight of possession here for the Bulldogs, and some strong stuff over the top there by Miles on Tolman. They got muddled up for a moment there. Graham looking for somebody. Chase Stanley certainly wasn't ready for it, so they have to burn a tackle. Graham plays it. 4 gone. 10 metres out. Reynolds for Stanley. Runs towards Matai. Jackson keeps it alive. It goes back to Reynolds. He grabs for himself. They'll come back. They missed it. There was an air swing, and Will Hopewadi has gone very close to scoring.
If it's no try, I'm going back over here for a penalty against Steve Matai. Offside.
Well, we just heard that then. If it's no try, the Dogs will get the ball.
If it's no try, I'm going to penalise Steve Matai.
With a penalty against Steve Matai. The bunker having a look at it.
Okay, we need to confirm the onside and then run through to a potential grounding. We've cleared the onside.
Reynolds puts the kick in. Brown's there. He puts the boot to it. And Will Hopewadi's, he needs to be quick, Will. Oh, I tell you what.
Hold it, mate. We need to confirm that he's grounded the ball inside the dead ball line.
I think he has.
It looked like it on the first replay. The ball is down inside the line comfortably. That's 4 points.
Okay, we're confirming that he's got possession and grounds the ball inside the dead ball line. Have a decision, and we're going to the board.
Okay.
We'll watch it close up here, but I think he does have possession.
Yeah, there's no doubt. That left hand stays on the ball. There's a touch with it. He's got his hand on the ball inside the dead ball line. That's an extraordinary try from the Bulldogs. It never ceases to amaze that players can get the ball down. And for those that are negative about the video referee, and I guess we all have been over the years, that's exactly why we need a video referee. And the bunkers come to a decision nice and quick for us. And the Dogs are out to an 8-point lead.
And from almost right in front, a shaky kick from Moses Mbai. He steers it across. They've lost, of course, Trent Hodkinson with his kicking as he moved to the Newcastle Knights at the end of the 2015 season. But the Bulldogs lead 10 points to 0. And Manly had not one but two cracks at cleaning up that kick. You can see that just scraping inside the left-hand upright from Moses Mbai. But Will Hopewadi, what a return for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, he played half a dozen games at the back for the Eels last year. It didn't quite work out. And with Morris out for 12 weeks, I need Will Hopewadi for at least half of the season be playing in that number one and playing well. Great put down by him.
A dream opening by Canterbury. Helped by two Manly mistakes. They've made them pay. Try to Parrott. Try to Will Hopewadi. Here's Williams. They've got them a penalty. Sent them on the attack before the error by Manly, which led to the try by Hopewadi. And he was looking for another one right there. And he's taking some stopping already. Here's Reynolds, a kick, trying to get it over the head of Trbojevic. He is such an athlete, still a teenager. And he has bumped up to 2016. And he's going to be here, you'd imagine, for a long, long time to come. Walker getting manhandled here and taken towards the sideline, and all but knocking the ball on himself. Trent Barrett, welcome to first-grade coaching. Couple of errors by his side. They're in a hole early on, under enormous pressure to work it away from their own end once again. Williami made the previous error. Plays it there for Coruscant, and now Maddow putting his hand up, coming in for a run himself to give the forwards a bit of a breather on a warm, steamy Sydney night. Opening weekend of the season. Kick goes down to Hopewadi. He links up with Des Hasler once again in 2016, the coach who brought him into first grade, right here with the Sea Eagles at Brookvale.
He's got that left knee strapped, and he hurt that against Penrith a few weeks ago. He was in doubt to get on the field tonight. And I guess the Dogs and Desi were thankful that he proved his fitness. Not good to lose one fullback. When you get two going down for round one, it's a different story.
Leisha out of dummy half. It goes to Graham. He had him by pushing up in support off his hip. Very involved, as you would expect. James Graham early on. The halfback will kick in behind them. Trbojevic coming across, second-guessed himself. Already a moment which helped contribute to 4, if not 6 points to the Bulldogs, and then a nervous little moment there on the sideline as he played it. Does he not play at it? Eventually he did. Could have easily touched it and knocked it into touch.
Yeah, Tafua trying to get it out of trouble for Manly. Tackle earlier was a big one from Eastwood. They're struggling to get out of their own end, the Sea Eagles.
Ball late in the piece right then, and then Walker has put it down, picked up by Reynolds. Manly continue to make mistakes, and they're under all sorts of pressure here again. Down by double figures, and Tolman taking it forward to get a penalty with Manly being offside.
They're under the pump. They are under the pump and under pressure, and they've given away a penalty. That's 3 errors that they've come up with, working the ball out of their own 20. They're not going to worry about the 2. Maybe Tolman thought about tapping. And he is.
He went back as if they were going to talk about it, perhaps give the ball to Mbai, but you couldn't early on, already leading by 10. Turn up this chance. with the success they've already had. From close range, Eastwood playing it. They go wide, a chance from by. Out there, giving it to Josh Morris. Got away from a couple of defenders, both Williami and also Lyon. Quick play the ball. Here's Graham tipping it on. Eastwood does likewise. Reynolds shows it, gets to the outside. Back on the inside for Chase Stanley. Good cover, working hard from the inside was Nate Miles. Play number 5, Leisha. Crash ball for James Graham, who almost spins his way in. Coruscant only just stopping him. Slow play the ball. He's out on his feet, Graham. Eastwood over the top. Morris tips it on. Curtis Rona! He dives for the corner. We're going to the bunker once again, but it looks as though he got there.
Last, have a try. Want to look at an inside runner, back over towards the post. Make sure no obstruction, then grounding.
They had some space out in that left edge, and the ball floated out to Curtis Rona, but if you want a winger for your life to be able to get the ball into a corner, it's Curtis Rona with those long arms. We'll just watch Tony Williams, who rushes up to be a decoy runner. He's caught the ball on the inside of Williams' shoulder. It depends whether the man in front is obstructed or he goes across the face of him. That's Lewis Brown in front of Tony Williams. Now, the fact that he's caught it on the inside shoulder and nice and tight behind him might mean that they take this one off them. I don't really think he obstructed Lewis Brown, but they're pretty clear on what they're looking for. He was standing only half a metre behind Williams as he floated the one over to Morris, who pushed it onto Rona. Plenty of cover coming across.
The bottom right will show you where the ball is taken, back on the inside shoulder of Tony Williams.
Which means he runs behind Tony Williams. He gets the ball on the inside of him and runs behind him.
I think that's been given away. Red lights. Yep. No try for the Bulldogs. And I'm going to say again, after 2 from 2 last night for the bunker, they're 2 for 2 here tonight.
Yeah, there's no doubt. He was tight and behind. They always talk about the depth of the runner behind their decoy man. And Tony Williams and Eastwood were too tight. And also Eastwood was on the inside shoulder of Williams.
And it stops Lewis Brown maintaining his place in the line. And Cherry Evans on his outside would have been that metre or two to the right-hand side and better placed to maintain his position defensively had Williams not come up and stopped the progress of Lewis Brown, who plays the ball here. Cherry Evans. Darcy Lussick is out there as Trent Barrett goes to his bench. And he'll play it 35 out from the Bulldogs line. Coruscant. Cherry Evans numbers down the right-hand side. He circles away from Lyon. Gives it to Jake Travojevic. And they'll play it with one left, 20 metres out. Can they hit back? Here's Walker chipping towards the corner. Tafua up against Perrin. They went down like 9 pins. Maddai was there. He didn't get to the contest. They said the contest was okay, and Perrott came down with it cleanly for Canterbury. Another good kick from Dylan Walker gave his team a chance. They might have quite a battle, those two. Tafua and Perrott, similar builds, about the same height. Jackson plays it. Tom. Spin away there from Lussick. Back from Parramatta. Back to where it all began here for him on the Northern Beaches. Graham to play it. Reynolds. Nice, calm, poised opening from him. He spoke in the pre-season about trying to play with a cooler head in 2016 as Travojevic again threatens to go through the line on those kick returns.
Well, he's got such a long stride, 6'4" on the old scale, and just over 100 kilos. He just limped away from that effort there. He's had problems with his ankles as Manly get a penalty, and they really get an opportunity now as Eastwood comes in with a bit of push and shove to mount something. Down 10-0. Just over halfway through this first stanza, but
Matty, if you can get to Jake,
we get something started, the Eagles. This is a perfect opportunity.
The locals were baying for a penalty. They got one.
Chase.
Eastwood held down Green with a tap and a shove. The boys are okay. They're back underway, and here is Green. Playing it at the 20. Big crowd here at Brookvale, as you would expect. The Sea Eagles up against the Bulldogs. Can Manly head back? Here is Tafua. Crossing from left to right and almost sneaking through. Brown from dummy half. Goes to Jake Trbojevic. He'll play it about 3 metres away. Head back towards Walker this time, who's swapped as well. He's right. Cherry Evans suddenly is on this left edge. Coruscant comes to Miles. They've lost their way there. They've got one more left. Miles will play it eventually. Cherry Evans double pumps it. Trbojevic puts it down. It didn't look like everybody was on the same page there at any stretch in those last few plays.
Yeah, I guess Trbojevic didn't know whether Evans was going to kick the ball or not as Greg Eastwood gets a rest.
Hey, Jake, you got a marker?
24 minutes into the game. Gee, I like the involvement in that set from Dylan Walker. A couple of times he threatened. He almost put Tafua through, who lost his footing. Cassiano onto the field. There's no doubt he's dropped 5 or 6 kilos, Cassiano. He looks much better. The penalty count. Well, it's 3-all. That one will make it 4-3 for the Dogs and get them out of trouble.
He looks svelte, Sam Cassiano. It's remarkable the difference in him between 2015 and 2016. And all sorts of figures as to exactly how many kilograms he has dropped. But he is as fit as a trout this season. 25 minutes gone almost. The Bulldogs by 10. See how many minutes the Trout can play. Here he is on the left-hand side, giving it to him by Morris. Searching for a run between Lyon and also Williami. Just inside the 30. Williams goes to Cassiano, looking to offload. It's quite a tremendous try for Josh Reynolds to score in the trial against Melbourne 2 weeks ago with 6 or 7 players hanging off him. And now a penalty again.
There it is.
It was Coruscant who tackled Will Hopewadi only fractionally before he got the ball, but it was enough for the penalty to be awarded to the Dogs. He saw that Hopewadi was trailing on the inside and just made the effort a little earlier. Cassiano gets things underway.
They're 3 metres out. Denied a third try, searching for it now as Mbye floats it over the top. Here is Rona. Just about to reach out from 5 metres out. He is the octopus. Now Williams back towards the corner. Walker will make the tackle. The bunch in this middle of the field, not much doing for the Bulldogs. Graham, as a result, just has to burn a tackle and will play it about 5 away. Leisha waiting at dummy half. They go back to the left edge. Here's Tolman straightening. They can do this at times, the Bulldogs. Just work it, punch it through the middle, time after time. Cassiano, magic hands. He half volleyed it, was able to crash across and score under the black dot.
Well, a stroke of genius from Des. He brings Cassiano on, and what a... How about the involvement of the big man since he's been on the field? Plenty of runs, plenty of touches with the ball and offload, and then does a great job. I don't think he would have got his arms over his stomach last year to pick that one up, but certainly the loss of weight's done him the world of good for that golden moment.
Terrific pickup from close range, and they just kept whacking them through the middle. Graham, Tolman doubling up. Cassiano. He just knew they were coming again to another big man, and it was enough. He is big, he's strong, he's so skillful though.
Well, some of his passing last year was amazing. Look, and there's no doubt they'll miss Frank Pritchard down that left side, but Cassiano can almost make up for it with his ability to go to the line and either punch into it and offload from there, or he can throw a pass before he gets to the defensive line and pick out a runner in space. That time he didn't have to. Just size got him across.
No trouble this time from Bayern from right in front. 16-0. What a scoreline this is, Jimmy.
Been quite impressive, haven't they? The three players I kept hearing about in the pre-season for the Bulldogs was Tony Williams, who had abdominal muscles, Greg Eastwood, who'd lost 6 kilos, and Sam Cassiano, who'd starved himself down to 130 kilos. And we're seeing the benefit of that tonight. They're all going to be ambassadors for the man shake. Before you know it was just an update to CSI Avave on the field. Jake Trebojevic off.
Another change in the forward pack made by Trent Barrett. I don't see how many minutes Cassiano can play in 2016. He averaged 33. Here he is again, another strong run. Look at this. 20 metres plus for Big Sam. Still rolling down the middle of the field. They're there on play 2. Leisha goes to Morris. Just like that, they're back across the halfway line. Marty Tapau looking for a big shot right there on James Graham. He's lined him up a couple of times, and that was pretty square, as that was from Steve Mathai. But they're going to say it was a little bit high.
Bernie.
I think he might have tripped as he got to him, Tolman, which hasn't helped Mathai.
All right, back, boys. Yes. Yep.
He loves sneaking in from the outside. We saw that a couple of times last year, in particular against South Sydney, but see him come from the outside in there. Tolman sort of stopped and saw him coming, and as he was stepping, he probably dropped 6 inches, Aiden Tolman. There's no doubt Mathai made contact.
Jamie.
Tolman's height, the fact that he dropped hasn't helped.
Steve.
Jared Sutton wants a word with Steve Mathai.
Well, they have to do it. Certainly deserves a penalty. He made contact with his head. They'll have to have a look at it. Another penalty to the Dogs in good field position.
And he probably wasn't scheduled to come off there, Aiden Tolman, but that is crucial with the reduced interchange. The Tolman comes from the field off a piece of foul play. It's a free change for the Bulldogs, and that will help them out, no doubt, at the back end of the game.
Absolutely. That's one more they've got up their sleeve.
So Graham punches it towards the post again. It'll be the power play once again. Leisha, the Cassiano going to Jackson this time. Cherry Evans still on this left edge for the moment, switching things up defensively with Dylan Walker. Not a great ball there. Vave comes up with it for the Sea Eagles, and they're off the hook. And you get the impression, as the half-hour mark approaches, they needed something right there, Manly.
You could just see the Dogs, if they were able to control that footy for the set of 6, you could see them certainly running another one in against the Sea Eagles. Not a great ball from Michael Leisha to James Graham. And Mathai goes the only way he knows when they're under pressure, and that's over the top of someone, or attempt to.
CSI Avave spent all of 2015 in the New South Wales Cup for the Sea Eagles. Former Shark, former Storm player as well. Brown just outside the Dogs' 30. Goes to Lussick. Strong carry, but an equally good tackle there by Cassiano and also Jackson. Coruscant through the hands of Vave. Cherry Evans to Walker. The halves linking up. Lyon 3-on-3 there with Josh Morris. Morris, one of the best defensive centres in the game for some time. Perhaps they're the 1 and 2 in that category. Lyon and Morris. It's quite a battle on that side of the field in this first half. The kick didn't work out. Well fielded by Hopewadi.
Yeah, he was perfectly positioned. Dylan Walker's got most of his short kicks right tonight, but that one straight to Hopewadi. There wasn't much Manly chase on the back of it either. Good metres there, and a nice offload from Michael Leisha.
The stare of a man watching his team well behind in his first game in the NRL. He's coached country before, Trent Barrett. He's also been an assistant to Ivan Cleary at Penrith before linking up with Manly at the back end of 2015. Here's Reynolds. Jackson puts it down. It was building again on this right edge. They had numbers there. And Jackson takes that ball. They're going to take some stopping.
Oh, it was a nice play from Reynolds. He dummied on the inside and then skipped on the outside. Josh Jackson was in a hole, and either he passes the ball when Cherry Evans makes the tackle. He had Stanley and Perrott on his outside. With Trent Barrett looking at the score at 16-0, he'd be hoping they can get to the break at 16-0.
Now, penalty for the Seagulls. Matai wants to tap it quickly and go.
It is a pretty big possession swing towards the Dogs. It's over 60% of possession. They've had 7 extra sets, and Cherry Evans has failed to find touch.
Well, that is a killer off the back of all the pressure they've had to absorb. And they've cracked 3 times. They are getting a chance to go on the attack. Can't find touch. Tim Brown has it for the Bulldogs as Hasler goes to his bench. And now Cassiano. Ankle tap right there. 35 out. On that left edge. What's happening for Williams as a result? Well handled by Walker. Still out there with Lyon and also Williami. Rona. Comes to Moses and Bife. But the line was Tim Brown trying to impersonate James Graham for a moment by hitting, spinning and offloading. They go back to Graham. Here's Mbai, rubbering. Morris chasing through. He'll get a chance. There it is. Like his identical twin, Brett Morris. He joins his brother again in the 100 club. They're going to take a look at it, but it looked as though it was all okay.
Well, their inability to get the ball either down in the in goal or knock it dead has cost Manly again. Hopewadi scored off a grubber kick.
Yes.
And this one from Moses and Bai kept nice and straight.
They don't need to check it. It's all okay. It looked okay in running. And 100 tries comes up in game number 197 for Josh Morris. Another good kick in behind them. Williami having a tough night there on the right wing. A clean miss. Their second of the game in the in-goal area, and Morris brings up his century.
I wonder if coaches have chat to their wingers, and when it's time to ask them how they react to things or what happens in the in-goal area. Wingers trying to knock the ball dead from a bouncing kick is not the percentage play. Fall on the ball. You're not going to get yourself out of there. Just fall on the ball and you go to the line dropout. But trying to push it dead. Josh Morris, terrific stuff. Was able to take advantage of it. It's 2 errors in the in-goal that have cost Manly points now. And we said that, and that's 100 too for Josh Morris, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Brilliant.
They're the first brothers ever to notch up a century. And, of course, you throw in their dad, Steve, who also, like Brett, scored 121 tries. They're quite the family, aren't they?
Well, they are. Sometimes I tune out when you're talking. I didn't.
Thanks for that. Tremendous to hear after 16 years of working together. You sometimes tune out.
I was watching the push and shove, and marvellous effort from Morris.
Super effort, that's 100 up for Josh Morris. Let's go down to Jimmy. 22 points to 0, Jim.
It's a strong start, isn't it, from the Bulldogs? Don't worry, Woz. I was tuned in. I'm glad you mentioned Steve Slippery Morris. He was at the Roosters when I started playing there. A really experienced player there, and of course made a name for himself at the Dragons. I've got to say, we've talked a lot about Moses Mbai and Daly Cherry Evans. Josh Reynolds, who's just about to pick up the football, has been excellent tonight with his creativity and his speed is challenging defenders as well.
This is remarkable. The weight of possession and the work that Manly have had to do. 159 total tackles to this point of the game. 4.5 minutes out from half-time. Here's Williams. They'll have visions. Jagging one more 4-pointer before the break. Here's Graham. Back towards the halfway line. The mistakes have cost the Sea Eagles so dearly. Jackson. Get back to his feet quickly, hung on to by Coruscant, could have easily been a penalty. Moses and Bai will put it up in the air. Trbojevic standing underneath it, makes a good catch. They've had no trouble in the air, but on the ground, they've had all sorts of problems. Cherry Evans from dummy half. Across to Williami. A couple of balls down inside their own 20 as well. Williami put one down. Dylan Walker another as George Tafua works it up towards the 30. Cassiano hanging on for grim life around the legs. Chase Stanley gets tangled up. And in the end, Jared Sutton had no choice. Quick tap taken by Maddai. He finds a bit of space and he's taken down by Perrott. Something for Manly perhaps just before half-time. Walker goes to Vava. Stopped there by Leisha. He's their best tackler as far as pure numbers per game in 2015, Michael Leisha. Before that fractured foot. Play at 25 out. They go to the right-hand side. Walker still out there, linking with Cherry Evans again. Done with a good tackle by and by with the help of Morris. Lyon comes to Walker. He showed it to Powell, and then Varve is pushing up in support. He'll keep it going. Coruscant, not much happening for him. Walker was thereabouts, but Coruscant hung on to it. Last tackle. Here's Dylan Walker. A grubber once more. Hopewadi in the fullback role. He started the season last year with the Eels in that position before giving way to Reece Robinson, but he has been very good positionally so far here tonight.
Yeah, he's been outstanding. The Seagulls in their last couple of kicks really haven't asked him to do too much as Manly try and get some aggression in their defence, try and force an error and come up with a try before the half-time siren. 22-0, it's a huge scoreline in the Dogs' favour.
Here is Tim Brown. A lot of bad luck in previous off-seasons with a couple of small injuries, but interrupted this time around, and he's looking, as the rest of them are, so fit for this new campaign. Trbojevic on the kick return. Ryan getting back there. On a steamy night, the veteran pushing back, knowing his team needs something, and it might come on a kick return from their own end as Williami stuttering run to take it just beyond the 40. Cherry Evans, a long ball. It goes to Walker. Here is Tafua, bumping it forward towards Stanley, losing the ball. They're going to say, though, 2 in the tackle. That'll give Manly a full set with 60 seconds and change remaining.
Yeah, they'll get a set. They'll get a set against them. Tafua just pushing away, and Stanley comes again. Well, might have been a bit unlucky there, the Dogs.
Manly will take anything at the moment. Down 22, blot. Coruscant goes to Varve. Leisha there with Brown. Trent Barrett with his fingers crossed, no doubt. Come to the left-hand side. Lussick, Green, tip on by Trbojevic. A beautiful tip on, straight to the cameraman.
Just not working, is it? Yeah, Trent Barrett's reaction, he's pretty calm. I don't think he would be inside. Trbojevic just trying to shuffle it out and well over George Tafua's head. Plenty of Dogs there in cover.
Well, they've missed Brett Stewart in a number of ways here in this first half. Trent Barrett has seen enough. So has his team. James Graham saying, let's pack the scrum quickly and get a play in before half-time. But at the break, it's all the Bulldogs at Brookie. 22 points to 0.
Well, there you go. What about that? We're in shock here. 22-0. The Dogs over Manly. Tonight was about ushering in the new era at Manly. Someone forgot to tell Desi and his boys. Boys, unbelievable, isn't it?
I forgot to tell me
Anyone
too.
like to change their tip?
Can we?
Please.
Yes,
We're
you
allowed
can.
to, aren't we?
Yeah.
We're allowed to. Well, I'm going to go to the Dogs.
Yeah.
I think they're a great forward pack.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and they're fit, and they'll just control the footy, and they'll just grind their way in.
They did. Until after the break, gentlemen, we're going to talk more in depth, but let's just identify a couple of moments going into the break. Firstly, the first try from the Bulldogs, and this is Des Hasler's try. Mate, this is a pre-orchestrated moment to identify and catch out Dylan Walker, who he said before the game was going to defend at 3 in. And when you're 3 in from an edge, you're the chief decision maker. And they just exposed Walker, and under pressure, Walker really rushed in. Watch Walker. Bang, rushes in on Stanley. We just needed to hold a little bit, and they just stripped him short, the Bulldogs. So well done to Desi Hasler. No coach does more video, and that was his try.
Well, it certainly was, and Nathan alluded to it in the pre-game, that he's missed so many tackles. So he raced out. So the bloke inside him, well, you've got to stay level with him, and then the bloke outside, so then Mad-Eye, like, he reacted, but he was too late, and the try done. But I think Walker coming off his line and going in so hard.
So when you defend at 3 in, two people say, yeah, what's the difference? Well, when you defend in the centres, you're reacting to the chief decision maker in defence, which is that 3 in. So Walker, it's a totally different ballgame.
I think I'd defend Walker. The run that Stanley did for the Dogs to hit that hole,
was a nice
it doesn't matter who was defending there, would have had to have gone in. Yeah. So it would have been, I think Graham did such a fantastic job getting to where he got to, then Stanley hitting that hole.
It was a nice little trick shot. It was a ripper from Des. Now, gentlemen, Stevie Mad-Eye has been on report. He's ever been on report before? Steve Mad-Eye? He's got a little bit of loading.
I mean, to be fair to him, he was just trying to inspire his teammates. He did get unlucky. He got him high, but you can't fault his effort.
No. But what do you think, though, gentlemen?
I think he's in a bit of strive. I think it's high, and he's attacked the head of the opponent. That's the rules, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it is.
The law.
It is, Fletch.
To his defence, you know, Tolman was...
He was falling.
Yeah. He was falling. He was getting lower. It wasn't shoulder. It was more bicep and, you know, the gap between the elbow and the bicep and the forearm.
Well, there's no doubt about it. We are shocked. 22-0 Dogs over Manly at Brookvale Oval, but another half to come. We'll take a break. Be right back. Stay with us.
Home appliance sellout on now at Harvey Norman. All categories, big brands, huge range, all on sale for 3 days only. Fridges, washers, cooking, dishwashers, vacuums, toasters, kettles, coffee machines, juicers, blenders, mixers, irons, air conditioners, fans and more. Act now, save now. This is your chance to do an unbelievable deal at Harvey Norman. All categories, big brands, huge range, all on sale for 3 days only. Whatever you do, don't miss this opportunity. Available in-store and online. Huge home appliance sellout must end Sunday at Harvey Norman.
No.
Don't tiptoe through life. Don't live quietly, politely, invisibly. Travel against the grain. Take on today and let tomorrow know you're coming. The VF2, the most powerful Commodore ever, is here. Power ahead.
Truth.
What the Blackie shorts?
That's it. It's over.
Hey, relax. I got a hunch.
Have ya? If we get it from here, I'll eat those shorts.
Oh, you're on.
Act fast with Bet Live from Sportsbet. Tap your selection, your stake, and confirm. Easy. Put the logo over it. Bet Live with Sportsbet.
Goal.
Sick of receiving shocking power bills? Actron Air is up to 75% more energy efficient than conventional ducted air conditioning systems. And that can put up to $900 in your hand every year. That's better. That's Actron.
Powerade Ion 4. Formulated with 95% more electrolytes to help replace 4 of the electrolytes lost in sweat. The science of winning.
The 2016 V8 Supercars Championship is here.
Here we go.
And you won't miss a moment when the V8s are unleashed on the streets of Adelaide. Every practice, qualifying and race is live on Fox Sports.
James Courtney will go back to back.
plus Dunlop Series, V8 Utes and these guys.
It's a wild, wild ride.
The Clipsal 500 Adelaide, tomorrow live on Fox Sports.
Well, Dogs have been superb, haven't they? 22-0, the Dogs over Manly at half-time at Brookvale Oval. This wasn't part of the script. Just unbelievable. They're really just on fire, the Bulldogs. And let's have a look at the first half stats. 4 tries to the Bulldogs. And I'm interested to have a look at the possession, gentlemen. We just have a look at that right now. And there we see 4 tries. Moses Mbai's he's kicked 3 from 4 after a bit of a shaky start with his goal kicking. And there it is. Well, 60% of possession to the Bulldogs, only 40 to Manly.
Forward from last year's starting side. So there's 5 new in the starting pack. And they looked lost out there at times. James Graham on screen has been enormous, as has Aidan Tolman. The work that they've got through. Marty Tapau has been one of those that's looked lost. He's struggling to get himself into the game. We know he's a powerhouse, but we virtually haven't seen it. Jamie Lyon hasn't touched the ball much. I know they're on the wrong end of the possession swing, but they need to get down to need to get back to some basics and just start running like the Dogs are in the middle of the field.
Some costly errors inside their own 20 as they work the ball away from their own line, hurt them, and then those howlers in the in-goal area on 2 grubbers have cost them at least 10 or 12 points. They're back underway. Friday night footy on Fox. With the Seagulls at home in front of a big crowd with it all to do. Walker will play. Coruscant. Mr. George Tafua. Manly won't know the numbers as far as the Dogs are concerned. Last season, when they scored 20 points or more, the Bulldogs, they were 12 from 13. Strong tackle here as this is underneath. Tim Brown over the top. Picked up from where they left off. 3 men in the tackle. That message was drilled into the Bulldogs during the week by Des Hasler. Well, they'll be happy with the 22 points. To their credit, Des, he will love the 0. They kept Manly 2 in that first half.
Only missed 1 tackle, which is extraordinary. I know they dominated possession, but only came up with 1 missed tackle. Nate Miles starting the second half from the bench.
Curtis Rona thought he was in for a try in the 21st minute, denied by the bunker. Instruction play by Tony Williams. Here's Cassiano, played 16 minutes on the other side of half-time. And the Bulldogs, courtesy of a free interchange, used just the 1 replacement of their allowed 8 in that first half, while Manly used 3. Graham playing it for Leisha. To Moses Mbai, who will kick towards the corner. Travojevic coming across. Makes a short grab this time around. So does Tim Brown. Grabs him by the collar and takes him down. And they have made it very tough for the Seagulls to work it from their own end, and that's why Cassiano up there in the face of Tafua. Sam Perrott jamming it as well. And meters for the back 5 in this situation. And almost non-existent for the Seagulls in the 42 minutes we've had so far. Green trying to get them going in the right direction. Matt Parcell warming up on the sideline. Perhaps his spark out of dummy half is just what they need at the moment.
Yeah, well, they're looking for something. They get a penalty late in the count as well, which won't hurt. The kick should find touch well inside their half, and it does. Cherry Evans got plenty of that one.
Yeah, it's a bit of a Bronx cheer as well from some of the faithful after not finding touch at a key moment during the first half. Here they are. They had 16 tackles inside the Bulldogs' 20 in that first half and no results. The Bulldogs, 29 plays at the other end for 4 tries. Varve playing. Coruscant giving it to Tapau, runs away from Brown. Good fend as well to keep going. Got away there from Adam Elliott, who's on debut and on the field tonight for the Bulldogs. He'll get a penalty.
We'll see how dangerous he was when he flicked back to the left-hand side. The left-hand ball carried right-hand fend. That's his best run.
A new set of 6 from close range. the Bulldogs pay right here. Coruscant comes to Walker. Good first man play. Good catch by Brown, but equally good defence. Well read by and Morris with some help from Cassiano. Head back to the left. Walker. Sterling Varve underneath him. They lost their way a couple of times towards the back end of the first half, Manly, in this situation. See if they can show more here. Cherry Evans, another first man play. Green hangs onto it. Another good stop, though. 3 men in the tackle again. Reynolds was there. So was Brown and Leisha. Leisha will give away a penalty.
Don't take us on down here. Don't take us on near the try line.
Didn't clear the ruck quickly enough for the referee's liking. And down 22 points to nil. There's only one decision to make. They tap it and go. Cherry Evans. Give it to Lussick.
Out this time, Sam. Mark square. Hold.
Parcell waiting with Parcell warming up in the wings. Cherry Evans at the back. Travojevic. Well handled, though, by Josh Jackson, who's defending at right centre at the moment. Chase Stanley hasn't re-emerged for the Bulldogs. And that's why Adam Elliott is also out there. A ball from Cherry Evans to Walker, which goes to ground. Let's go to Jimmy for a report on those injuries, Jim.
Yeah, I can report that Chase Stanley is off the field with a cork in the leg. That's why we have Adam Elliott making his NRL debut on the field at the moment. The report out of the Bulldogs, probably the easiest halftime address Des Hasler's ever given. Just keep going, grind them into the dirt. And remember, just repeating what you said, was 1 of 8 interchanges used, and if you want anyone getting whacked in the head, it's one of those middle forwards, don't you? From a Seagulls point of view, complete and get to your yardage set, get to your kick there, and also they want to get that first contact a lot better in defence as well. And I can add, as well as Steve Maddai being on report, Marty Tapau is on report for the Eagles because of that shoulder charge on James Graham in the lead up to the try.
Did you hear that?
I did hear that. That was the scrum clock going off. Either that or the new submarines the Australian government have got on order have been built already. Temlo, dive, dive, dive.
Good ball from Cassiano.
Clear the hatches. Man, flood the tubes. Here is Leisha. Certainly fired some torpedoes tonight, the Bulldogs. As Brown had Reynolds like a chicken wing for a moment there. Tim Brown grimacing as he falls in the tackle of side of Varve. Goes to Josh Reynolds, who'll kick towards the corner. Can't get it past George Defua. He'll work it away for Manly. No changes yet to our halftime scoreline, and that's why 4 players again there in the tackle, including Adam Elliott, who's on debut, playing it right edge forward at the moment for Josh Jackson, who's pushed out into the centres. Elliott, 21 years of age, hails from the far south coast of New South Wales, the Tathra Sea Eagles. Cassiano going to the bench, getting a breather for the moment. I don't know that that was scheduled by the looks of that. We'll wait and see if Cassiano stays on the bench or goes back up the tunnel. Here is Varve. Strong carry to take it to almost the Bulldogs 30. Coruscant, Cherry Evans. Rubbers in behind them, not much doing. Oh, Hopewadi. A moment there as it almost skipped by him.
He was just waiting for it to pop up, and it didn't. Just kept rolling, as it can do sometimes, but we've got them in a good position if they want to try and force an error. 7 minutes into the second half, Parcell looks like he's going out of the fray shortly.
No mistakes from the Bulldogs in this second half as Rona runs a long way, still going Curtis Rona. Beating defenders, stepping out of tackles and earning his side a penalty. They tap it quickly. Josh Reynolds goes. I'm going to say there was a Bulldog player in front of the tap. For the life of me, if you do that, I'm still not sure why you don't surrender possession.
Up here, boys.
Put a scrum down and Reynolds was the one that took the quick tap. There was the penalty. I'm just about to see the ref blow it. Reynolds was off quickly but had players in front of him. But they get a second chance.
On the line, Nathan. Hold.
Well, it doesn't matter whether it's the outside backs or the forwards. They are just demolishing Manly in the middle of the field.
on both sides of the ball as well. Here's Graham. Just outside the Manly 20. To add this to this imposing scoreline, Hopewadi goes through the hands from Elliott. Well read, though, by George Tafua, who jams in on Josh Reynolds. Now Leisha at first receiver. And Bai has taken a carry himself as they lost their way there. 4 plays gone, 10 metres out. Leisha from dummy half. Goes to Graham. We've got one more left. Graham looking for something. Wants a quick play. The ball didn't get one under the effort of Parcell. And Bai goes to Reynolds. Turns it back on the inside there for Sam Perrott. Grubbers. Another clean passage to chase through his own kick. And as a result, Tom Trbojevic cleans it up for Manly.
Well, they've run that play a couple of times, successful in the first half with Graham coming across the back of the ruck. That time Tolman picked up the second man, but Manly's defence read it. 90 to Powell. He's much better on the left side than the right, and he's spending too much time out on the right.
See if perhaps Trent Barrett makes that positional change. Keeps it that way in this second half. Here's Walker. Popping the ball out the back and goes to Jake Trbojevic. The first forward replaced by Trent Barrett. Now Cherry Evans puts it high in the air. Hopewadi, no real pressure on him, just adjust to the kick. They gave him a real workover under the high ball at Belmore training during the week, and he was terrific. With some spirals from Josh Reynolds and company. Boy, Tony Ryan coming out looking for a real shot there. Hasler goes to his bench once again. James Graham gets a breather for the moment on a warm Sydney night. The Bulldogs relishing the conditions by the looks of things. Gifted a couple of tries in that first half. Lead by 22. Greg Eastwood, another of those Bulldogs off contract in 2016 as Leisha runs a long way. It is rolling through the middle here off the back of quick play. The balls goes to Reynolds. Elliott keeps it going for Jackson. He'll kick in behind them. Tafua, a bit of work to do. Couldn't clean it up. Jackson grabs it back. A chance to score. He gets to the line, but he was held up by Trbojevic.
Bernie, we're back to tackle 0. Had no try. Just want to make sure there's no grounding from Jackson.
Well, it didn't look like he got it down, but Jackson looked up at his teammate and was quietly confident.
We're going to roll through, check the contest, and a grounding.
Yeah, Jackson puts the kick in, and the Dogs, Reynolds was the one who was definitely onside. Somehow the ball's come backwards. It'll be interesting to see
confirming
exactly.
There is a knock-on by Manly. So I have a knock-on by Manly. It goes back to 0 tackle for Bulldogs.
Jackson picks it up, shrugs away from another defender, takes Trbojevic into the in-goal area. I don't think so. He came close, but
Camera 7 in the top right. It appears that the ball stays up all the time.
We'll get another look at it, but it will be red lights.
Okay,
for
the ball
Bulldogs,
never gets any
a
lower.
fresh set of 6 coming up off the mistake by Tafua, who was under pressure from Jackson, who did well playing out there in the right centre and position and putting a kick in, getting it back, almost scoring. No surprise about the decision. An easy one for the boys in the bunker. Here is Jackson playing it 10 metres out from the Manly line. Looking for their 5th try of the night. Here's Elliott. 5 away. Play it for Leisha. On track to play 80. As he will be throughout the season. Only 8 changes allowed. Tolman playing it. Leisha dropping back, giving it to Mbai. Numbers on this left-hand side, and Mbai to Josh Morris. Well read, though, by Willie Army, with Lewis Brown penalised for holding down Josh Morris too long. They've given away a number of penalties on their own line, but they've been under so much pressure, Manly. You can understand players will take the referee to the point of no return.
Well, they've had to do it a couple of times because they've been on the back foot. But the amount of errors, penalties, whether it's drop ball that's happened at this end of the field for Manly tonight, is something that Trent Barrett will need to address immediately.
Brown backing his way to the line. Underneath the uprights. Plenty of tackles up their sleeve here. Players in motion once again. It went to East, or rather Elliott. Almost ducked under the tackle there of Green and company. Forced his way in. Leisha. Here's Reynolds. The right foot, then the left foot back off the right. Quickly got a legs tackle from Varve. As a result, there was a chance for Leisha from dummy half. He came down on the line. If he didn't lose the ball, he's grabbed himself a try.
Looking to confirm the grounding. Well, they will look at that, mate.
Well, on ground says it was a try. I thought the ball might have been forced out of his
Need to make sure the Bulldogs retain possession in grounding this ball.
A quick play the ball from Josh Reynolds after a legs tackle from Varve.
We're looking at camera 5 in the bottom left to see if he gets the ball to the ground.
That's Leisha's hands on the ball now. It's hard to say whether he continues to...
Camera 5 in the bottom left shows that the ball is lost.
I don't think so. I think it's
camera 3 in the top left also confirms the ball is lost.
And for him to score a try with his torso, the ball would already have to be on the ground and not mid-air as it was, as it squirted away from his right hand.
Now that'll constitute a drop ball.
Unfortunately, boys, I went against you. Red lights for the Bulldogs, and at least one Manly fan is happy at that.
That's the ruling.
Keeps them in the contest for the moment, and we've seen this side pull off some remarkable comebacks in their time, but boy, they are up against it here tonight. Jake Trbojevic playing it. Matt Parcell can use that speed and power as well. He's a strong runner. He gets the chance. Parcell good pick up from the Broncos after getting a taste in first grade last year. Played half a dozen games in the top grade as Brown. The player just in the Bulldogs territory. Slow play of the ball, no call. Cherry Evans. Nate Miles, who's back out there. See whether Nate Miles from this point on has to go the rest of the game without being interchanged. Here's Walker back on the inside for Tom Trbojevic. He worked hard from the inside. Tolman was there, but he gets the ball away. Cherry Evans shows it to Brown. Runs behind Jamie Lyon. There was no obstruction, no interference between the legs. Lyon still going. Wrapped up eventually by Will Hopewate. They're 2 metres out. Comes to Cherry Evans. Here is Miles. They've got one more. Parcell waits from dummy half. They go wide to the left. Walker. Cut out ball onto the chest there of Maddai, who puts it down.
That was good pressure from Sam Perrott. You could see the cutout ball was on. There was space on the outside. George Tafua unmarked. Steve Maddai normally good at this situation, catching and either beating the man with his left foot. It was a better set from Manly. A couple of nice balls during a set of 6 tackles. Cherry Evans offloaded in an impossible situation to Jamie Lyon. Tom Trbojevic did the same thing on the other side of the field, but it all amounts to nothing for the Seagulls.
Tolman puts his hand up for a carry back towards the Dogs 40. Josh Morris coming in to help out the forwards. Still going is Josh Morris. Terrific run. 15 metres plus there, and just a simple hit up into the teeth of the Manly defensive line as well. Greg Eastwood into the right-hand side, but well handled by Parcell and also to Powell. Josh Reynolds. Kick towards the corner, more pressure on Trbojevic. Almost lost the handle once again there. Got it just in time, and George Tafua wears a shot for his trouble.
And even though he was struggling to pick that ball up as he makes a run off the back of the Tafua play the ball, he still had the smarts to get it inside the Tafua for them to make some... Look at this, almost dropped the ball. Tafua doubles back and Trbojevic just picks him up. Good run off the back of it as well.
The Dogs still dominating possession. They had 60% of it in the first half. Walker kicks from inside the 40, but down the middle of the field. It'll go straight to Hopewadi. Takes it inside his 20. Brings it back in the tackle there of Lyon and also Cherry Evans. Adam Elliott. That long out there. If we would have taken a knock on their own line defensively a couple of minutes ago. The young man on debut. His mum, Janine. Dad, Graham, here tonight to see him go around. Brother James as well. And he's Pop watching on back in Tathra. Enjoying the action on Friday night footy. Live on Fox with no ad breaks as well. They'd be loving that.
Is that Beagle, Tathra?
Yes, on the far south coast. Here's Leisha. Running to him by Morris. Left foot running towards Cherry Evans. Nothing doing there. A simple play and a simple turnover. A kick on the back end of it. Manly. Almost 16 and a half gone in this second half to work it from deep inside their own territory once again. Plenty of practice at it. Marty Tapau on the steamy night. Knocking in some big ones out the back at the moment, trying to get his breath.
Yeah, he's been blowing through a couple of sets now. He's been walking out the back. He's absolutely shot, Marty Tapau, at the moment. He just can't keep up with the pace of the game. James Graham makes the tackle. The front rows for the Dogs have been just outstanding tonight.
Cherry Evans floating one across the top to the line. They're more and more likely as the game has worn on this right-hand side, but still no result. Kick off the outside of the boot from Cherry Evans. Hopewadi again has had a comfortable night fielding kicks either on the ground or in the air at the back. Round to 9 here at Brookvale. 16,512. They've been fairly muted around about the 20-minute mark on. Now a mistake. Well, they'll find their voice here because Rona has coughed it up in the tackle. They'll give Manly a chance from 25 metres out off the back of this scrum.
Well, there's still 20 minutes to go. There's still 20 to go, and if they can somehow mount something in this set of 6, take over 20.
Yes, mate. Cover us at the back here, Reedy. Let's form up, boys. You got to get the hit in as well.
There's no doubt
all the way in, Matt.
Cherry Evans and Jamie Lyon in the last 5 minutes have started to run the football a bit more. Both were virtually shut out of the game in the first half.
Here's Walker going to the line, but well handled there by Eastwood. Josh Jackson still playing at right centre. Chase Stanley will be back. That cork to the quad here tonight.
Well, the ball from Nate Miles was just behind Trebojevic, and that really shut down that set play.
Play it slowly back to Parcell. To Jake Trebojevic, or just walk it within a metre or so of the line. They've got to offer on this left edge. Walker, the ball goes to ground. Tafua a chance to flash through as it bounced towards the sideline, but he couldn't keep it in play. And the Bulldogs refuse to yield at the moment. It's been a tremendous defensive effort by them.
Well, it has. The ball from Walker found no one. Matai was flying through. Tafua was thereabouts, but I guess the expectations might have been a little bit too high when you're coming in with a new team, a new look pack. You're replacing Kieran Foran with someone that really hasn't spent much time at all at 5'8", and you're playing against the Dogs, who are on. Makes it tough.
They're on, especially in the middle of the field, and the Sea Eagles just haven't created enough stress in the middle of the field for the Bulldogs, who did concede some tries more than average in that middle of the field in 2015. But they've been good there tonight, and there hasn't been enough outside players drawn in to create some space on the edges for the Sea Eagles.
They really haven't got the Dogs on the back foot all night. The Dogs haven't been struggling, and they've presented a straight line defensively just about all night against this Sea Eagles attack.
The hour mark comes up. Bai will put the kick in across the field. Standing underneath it, an easy catch for Willie Yarmy. We've got the best part of a quarter of the game to go, Manly, but only 4 times have they been held to nil, and the last time was 1993 against the Roosters. That's at Brookvale Oval. Let's see if they can avoid breaking quite a streak. 23 years since they were last held to nil here at Brookie. Very quiet at the moment, those fans on the hill at the northern end, aren't they? Only work away from them. 35 out from the Bulldogs line. And possession still outstanding for the Bulldogs. 29 of 34 sets completed. There's Cherry Evans. And getting over there on that left-hand side. Walker looking across the field. Perhaps a little bit too much weight on the kick. Rona under pressure, though, to keep it in the field of play. And the opinion of Jared Sutton as he came down on the goal line. It'll be a goal line dropout.
Leary was able to force him back into the in goal. Rona there, well in field, tries to get back on the inside. He might have just touched the... Force the ball back on the... I don't know. He's called held pretty quick. I think he might have got back into the field of play there.
Jared Sutton was right there. No complaints from Curtis Rona. Shallow dropout. It's Tom Trbojevic a chance to play. 25 out from the Bulldogs line. Needs something perhaps in this set of 6. The fans in the game give them something to go on with. Perhaps to take out of this game with. Here's Walker. Getting it back underneath for Nathan Green. Chance to press his claims from close range, and he just about got there as well. Graham and Tolman involved in the tackle. Lloyd Perrott was there as well. Cherry Evans lost it. Backwards is the call. Tackle count continues on. Play 5. Lewis Brown stepping off his right foot, showing it. Tolman not falling for a dummy, though. Neither Lloyd Perrott. They've got one left from close range. Here's Parcell. Walker. Rubbery. Hopewadi waiting. Matai coming through quickly, was taking no chances.
It was putting the brakes on quick, wasn't it, the footy? Off his boot, it looked a bit big. Then slowed down. I think Hopewadi thought it was going to roll dead. Nice kick from Walker. He was able to find the gap and then get the weight of it right. It was the 11th minute when Sam Perrott scored the Dogs' first try, and that's been about the scene here for the Brookvale Oval fans.
Hopewadi scored to make it 10 points to nil after 16 minutes. The signs weren't great. Didn't help themselves with those 2 horrendous errors in their own in goal as Leary makes a good run. He'll play it just outside the 10. Here is Cherry Evans. Goes to Nate Miles, who did a good job of coming up with that. He wasn't expecting it. There's a problem for Michael Leisha, who's hobbling in the background. Here is Parcell. Goes to Cherry Evans. At the back for Walker. Tom Trbojevic over the top. George Tafua juggled it. He thinks he brought it down. And we'll wait and see what the touch judge says to Jared Sutton. They're going to check this.
No try. Looking for lost ball.
Well, that's what it seemed like. I'm surprised that Trbojevic
Okay, we just need to check the
I thought
touch
he
line
was
and a possible grounding on this.
He was down, Trbojevic. He had to throw the pass. I know he's tall, but not that tall. Well, Tafua needs to regather the ball before it gets to the ground.
Camera 8 in the top right shows that he loses possession. He then needs to regain possession in order to ground it.
He goes close.
He does go close.
Did he get it down in control?
Well, he gets
before
it.
His knee touches the touch
Depends what they're looking at.
Okay, camera 7 in the bottom right.
I think he regrips the ball with his left hand and gets his right hand back over the top.
Camera 9 on the bottom left shows that he grounds the ball before going over the touching goal line.
That's good.
Have a decision. We're going to the board.
As you can hear, they've got a call And you can see it from every angle. In that far corner of the field, Manly are on the board in 2016.
Well, it's taken just over an hour, and we've seen some remarkable, well, a couple of remarkable put-downs. One from Will Hopewadi in the first half off a kick. When Tom Trbojevic threw that pass, I thought for all money it had just floated over the head of George Tafua. Somehow he was able to pull it in. He lost control of it, then regathered only millimetres before it touched the ground. That's an extraordinary put down from Tafua. How well has he done in the air to take the ball? Just over 15 minutes left. Manly desperate to get something happening, and they do.
He makes a habit of scoring tries against the Bulldogs. George Tafua hasn't played them since round 13, 2014. He scored 4 tries his previous 4 games against them. Jamie Lyons' kick is good. 22 points to 6. Let's go downstairs to Jimmy.
Yeah, brilliant take there and control from George Tafua. If there's one thing you do lose with Brett Stewart out, and we've talked a lot about the positives with Tom Trbojevic, is that ball playing on the edge. Not a great pass from Trbojevic, but Tafua was able to pull it in. I can say, I mean, how quick was that decision from the bunker? We've talked a lot about the reduced interchange and the shot clock and the fatigue of some of the players. The biggest influence on that, no doubt, is the speed of decision coming out of the bunker.
Between that and the shot clock on goal line dropouts and also the scrums as well, it was already 1.5 games into this new season, a better feel of the flow of the game, returning to somewhere approaching to where we would like it.
Absolutely. There's no fuss about it, and they make it pretty clear at what they're looking for and what they see. And they articulate that, and the people here at the ground don't have to sit around for 3 minutes.
That is a concern. Michael Leisha, who missed the last portion of 2015 with a fractured foot, saw him limping badly in the lead up to that try by Tafua. From the field again, knee heavily bandaged, but an ankle and foot problem. He finished his season before the finals. And he limps up the sheds, and boy, they will have their hearts in their mouths in the Bulldogs coach's box with their #1 hooker. Try and find out what the story is, if we can, before full time with Michael Leisha. Josh Jackson stopped on his run cold there. He's okay though. Around the short side again to Sam Perrott. Chase Stanley is missing for the leaders. Caught to the quad, and now Leisha out with a leg injury of some note, and Hopewadi getting up pretty slowly off the ground. Cassiano.
Well, Trbojevic hit it was Jake on Will Hopewadi. Went down heavily. Leisha, of course, is one of the new signings for the Dogs. Craig Garvey has come across playing with the Dogs, New South Wales Cup team. They'll be hoping that Leisha will be there, but that will be the backup for him.
There was Adam Elliott straddling one of the massage tables in the dressing room. I'm not sure whether he's going to try and ride the full 8 seconds or there's a problem with his back. Doesn't look to be that good. I saw him come from the ground and slump to the turf when he did leave the field. Put to report on. There was only 8 interchanges. Still 12 minutes to go. Try and update things in a moment with Jimmy as the Seagulls go on the attack. Here's Brown giving it to Lyons. 15 metres away. One more tackle up their sleeve as Williami goes to Cherry Evans. Grubbers in behind them. A good kick as well. Pressure here on Tolman, who just submits and says, that'll do me. We'll take a goal line dropout in a few seconds to catch our breath. What's the story down there, Jimmy?
Left knee injury for Michael Leisha. We're trying to get an update on that one. I'm pretty sure I saw the trainer with the Bulldogs with Adam Elliott previously. That's a concussion issue. So he's in a world of hurt from that point of view, Adam Elliott. And here underscores the versatility of Josh Jackson. He had to go out to right centre when Chase Stanley went off the field. Now he's in a dummy half with no Michael Leisha.
He had that left knee heavily strapped to Michael Leisha, so that is an issue for the young hooker as Trbojevic brings it back into the Dogs' pack.
took a knock in the trial game 2 weeks ago against the Melbourne Storm, Michael Leisha, and it was an injury or a situation that sparked a situation which eventually led, in a manner of ways, to David Clemmer in a 1-week suspension. Let's see how it pulls up. Oh, good tackle here by Moses and by Tom Travojevic. Back on the angle and Byron it beautifully. Now Leary. With a pocket rocket out there amongst the heavyweights of the Bulldogs forward pack, and Tolman will be penalised. Manly have one interchange left. Just on 10 minutes remaining. The Bulldogs have 2. The Bulldogs got a free one in the first half, and Tolman was able to come from the field. Now Miles getting a shot from James Graham. He saw where the ball was going, and the skipper raced out and just crunched Nate Miles.
Now Matt Parcell into dummy half, couldn't pull it back. He'd already thrown the pass, but he must have seen Graham out the corner of his eye line Nate Miles up. You saw the anguish in Parcell's face as he let go of the ball. Too late, it had left his hands. He saw Graham coming.
Nate and James have a bit of a chat about things. A bit of blood again tonight from that scratch on the top of the scalp from Nate Miles. Not the debut for the Sea Eagles that he was hoping for. And 7 other new faces in this lineup tonight. Back to the drawing board in some ways. Off the back of what's happened here this evening against, it has to be said, one of the true contenders for the title.
Yeah, there's no doubt that the Dogs, I think the Dogs will be a better team than they were last year. Very inconsistent, but you can never give up on them, and you could never really gauge what they were going to do after playing well and then the next week looking like they could run last quite comfortably. It was such an up and down season for them. I think James Graham, the form, he had an indifferent year, and that mirrored the Dogs as a team. I think it'll be a different story this year, and I think they've shown that already, those middle players.
There's Hasler spoke about that, just getting a little bit of luck with injuries and hoping for far fewer suspensions than they had in 2015. In ways that shouldn't be too hard given the manner of some of them, as Tafua gets bundled into touch. They haven't had that many chances in the second half, deep inside the Manly 20. They'll get a full set right here. Again, an awkward one for Tafua, and great first contact from Josh Jackson. Hit and held him up, and Reynolds did the rest.
And not an easy man to do that to either. George Tafua, who was powerfully built, low to the ground. And Jackson came at him at speed and was able to hit and stick.
10 seconds, boys.
He's
had a big game to number 11. We've spoken plenty about the front rowers and those middle players. Cassiano, the benchmen have been great. Josh Jackson.
Here's Cassiano, and by floating one over the top, Curtis Rona. It only took one play. They've caught them short on the far edge of the field. And the man who grabbed 23 tries in 2015 grabs his first of this new season.
Yeah, came close to scoring at the other end of the field. Cassiano just lobs one over the top, standing out of the scrum. They had the Eagles. They had them for numbers. He just said he was a try-scoring genius last year, Curtis Rona. 23 of them. Probably just rewards for the dominance that they've showed over Manly. This second half, certainly the last 10 minutes has been the Seagulls, and we've been able to come up with a try, but the Dogs have owned the Seagulls in the middle of the field tonight. And that's exactly what it creates space on the edge.
He's in the second year of his 2-year deal, Curtis Rona, at the Bulldogs. He, along with the likes of Josh Jackson, Greg Eastwood, Moses Mbai, David Clemmer, off contract. A number of those players expected in the weeks ahead. Moses Mbai's deal has been in the works and all but agreed to for some time now. There's just some fine print. Perhaps about incentives and clauses regarding representative play should he advance to the Origin stage or beyond. But He's likely to be a Bulldog, and a well-paid one for some time to come, and a nice ball here for Curtis Rona, Jimmy.
Yeah, he'll enjoy that. A try assist there for Moses Zambai. And what about Curtis Rona? You mentioned the 23 tries, but in the 25 games, 24 line breaks as well for the bloke who was playing rugby union over in WA, and he noticed an ad in the paper to play for the WA Reds SG ball side. That's how he got into rugby league. And just updating too, only Tim Brown on the bench for the Bulldogs with the injuries to Adam Elliott, Michael Leisha and Chase Stanley.
Probably cruise home from here, quite obviously. A 20-point lead, 5.5 remaining. And first ever Friday night footy on Fox. Groundbreaking weekend. The hard-working crew at Fox Sports. It's been fantastic to bring you the action so far. Pertek, also Brookvale here tonight. It'll all continue tomorrow, of course, when the franchise, 20 years plus now, Super Saturday, kick off with our pre-game show from 2:30. The Raiders and the Panthers, the Tigers and the Warriors, and then the Premiers. Well, surely in front of a sold-out 1-300 Smile Stadium. There's some sort of bration up there in Townsville tomorrow night for the Cowboys when they take on the Sharks, and Super Saturday full-time. But perhaps that man, Trent Barrett, much more football he'll watch over the weekend apart from going over and over this tape. Or perhaps he won't have to. It's been pretty obvious where they haven't been at their best tonight.
Yeah, well, there's been a lot of confusion with the ball. They don't look better in the second half. He must have, well, he's been on edge. There's no doubt about it. Pretty jumpy before kickoff. That would have disappeared and there'd be a hole in his stomach at the moment. You're right, I think he's in for a long weekend, just reviewing what Manly have not done here tonight. Leisha with the ice on the inside of that left knee, which you would suspect a medial ligament problem, as Tapau. He likes to be on the left side. He likes to get that right arm free and push away with it.
There's Leary going to Jake Travojevic. Dylan Walker, a mixed night first up. The new Manly 5-8. A couple of errors with promising pieces of play as well. Leary. Walk it down within 45 of the Bulldogs line. Cherry Evans, a high ball. Hopewadi to do the blocking. Curtis Rona standing underneath it. He's a tremendous catcher of the football. And he brings it back to play at 25 short of the halfway line. The score stays at 26 points to 6. Manly's biggest ever round one loss here at Brookvale. Will continue a run of outs. They have really struggled in round one openers here at home to get the cash in recent seasons.
Well, they'd hope that 2016 doesn't replicate 15, because it was 3 wins out of their opening 12 rounds last year. It started with a loss and then they just kept coming. I don't think that's going to happen to Seagulls this year, as there's just too much work over the top from Tapau and Trebojevic.
Can't go quick. Stop quick on the advancing line.
Josh Reynolds wanted to take off. Just looking ahead. We'll see the Seagulls next week in action at Leichhardt. They'll take on the Tigers. Round 2 Monday night football. That one from 7 p.m. at Leichhardt. And while the clock ticks away these final couple of minutes, the Bulldogs will take a bit of a breather and try and add a couple of points here. And the forwards congratulate each other on the job done. They're next in action next Thursday night when they take on the Panthers up there at Penrith.
Well, it's been a terrific start from the Dogs. They finished last season on a bit of a roll as well, before that loss to the Roosters in week 2 of the finals, but they won their previous 6 games, so they did start to find some consistency in their footy at the back end of last year. And Bai moves in and strikes that one a little better.
Sorry, mate, he's got a minute 20 to kick it.
Moses Bai adds another 2 points, just over 60 seconds remaining. Des Hasler, you mentioned that semi-final loss 38 points to 12 to the Roosters. And he said back in the sheds, in a fairly quiet dressing room as you could imagine, that is not the way a Bulldogs team bows out of a competition. He said for the players returning, that burn away inside you and use that as motivation in 2016, and they've started certainly on the right foot. They set the record straight. Been to the finals 4 times in 4 seasons under the coaching of Des Hasler. Certain notice, albeit it's round 1. A big factor again this season. Speaking of big, Sam Cassiano plays it. One of the try scorers here this evening. And the 5 they've had, 4 in the first half. Perrott, Hopewadi, Cassiano, and also Josh Morris, who put up his 100th try. Curtis Rona added his name to that try scorers list. The try in the 73rd minute as well. They might have one more. The Bulldogs fans to celebrate with. The ball from Mbai goes to ground off Rona's legs. Cherry Evans will clean it up. And that'll just about do us here at Brookvale. A one-sided affair. The Bulldogs fans will be licking their lips. What's in prospect for them? 28 points to 6. Josh Reynolds shakes hands with Lewis Brown. A 22-point win for the Bulldogs here at Brookvale on Friday Night Footy on Fox.
Yeah, good call was, and well done, Brandy. Gentlemen, 28-6, well done to the Dogs. Man, that was strong. At Brookvale Oval, win away from home first up. A terrific performance, one of their best. And gentlemen, Manly better in the second half, but I mean, the storyline, it's all Bulldogs.
It is. I think the Dogs kicked it back again.
Because the cohesion just wasn't there.
No.
There's the Dog supporters, a couple of the Dog supporters celebrating there. Great night for them. I mean, really, to go there, they'd have been happy just for, you know, get any sort of result. But 28-6, that's a huge win to the Doggies. Well done to Des Hasler and the side. We'll take a break and be back with all the second half action. Stay with us.
If something comes into your mind, it tends to come straight out your mouth. Will that be fair?
Yeah, and I've got enough friends, I don't need to make any more.
Rugby 360, Wednesday on Fox Sports.
Yeah, welcome back to Fox Sports Friday Night Football, and well, one-way game tonight. Who would have thought? Dogs 28 over Manly 6. And we thought Manly might carry a little bit of rust into this, a lot of new combinations, but Trent Barrett would be very disappointed. 28-6, yeah, Sam Perrott, Josh Morris. William Hopewadi was very good, as was Sam Cassiano. Got tries, and there's the tail of the tape. Levelled up a little bit possession in the second half, 52% to the Doggies. They were very, very dominant, gentlemen, at the end of the day. Gordy, Hindy, Fletch. You're surprised by that result?
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised, but you know, after the first half and the way they started, you know, all these little trick shots, well coached. There was a couple of tries in the first half too that I think Manly could have cleaned up. Obviously missing Brett Stewart there, but it was a dominant performance. Everything that I said about their forwards last year, I think they got right this year. They were coming off the back fence, they were pushing, they were getting between guys. They gave their halfbacks time and space to play.
Yeah, Cherry Evans for me was a bit all over the shop.
Yeah.
You know, he looked a bit confused. He didn't know where he was going. He was running across field a lot of the time. It's not picking up runners.
It's the first time that Daly's had to run the whole team. Usually he's got a deputy on his left in Kieran Foyne, who operates the left. And in previous seasons, oftentimes he had Glenn Stewart out. But tonight, he was the sole playmaker. That's a lot of responsibility, a lot of getting used to. Boys, Dylan Walker. Mate, look, it's his first game in the 6 jersey for Manly. Tough night for Dylan, though.
Yeah, unhappy night. I was just speaking before to Nathan. Does Daly Cherry go back to? Does Trent Barrett go back to playing him on the left and Dylan on the right?